Seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton is sending documentation to Ferrari. That's right, you heard correctly. Technical reports, detailed analyses, comprehensive studies on the changes needed at the Italian team. And four-time champion Nico Rosberg has just explained why Ferrari should pay close attention to what Hamilton is presenting. But is the team really absorbing this information? And more crucially, what exactly are Hamilton's internal demands that could completely revolutionize the rest of the season? Let's start with the facts. Charles Leclerc is convincingly outperforming Lewis Hamilton in Ferrari's internal battle. 5 podiums against none, 42 points difference in the championship. These are painful statistics, especially for someone who has already won 7 world titles. Hamilton arrived at Ferrari as the big star, the historic signing, the one who was supposed to take the team to the next level. However, the reality has been far from the initial expectations. The Hungarian weekend was possibly the most bitter for Hamilton since his arrival at Maranello. 12th place in qualifying, 12th place in the race. Meanwhile, Leclerc secured Ferrari's first pole position of the year and crossed the finish line in 4th place. The frustration was so great that Hamilton declared himself useless after being eliminated in the second qualifying segment. He even mentioned that Ferrari could replace him as a driver. These were harsh statements, but they demonstrate the magnitude of the pressure faced by the Briton. But this is where the story becomes truly intriguing. Hamilton is not giving up the fight. On the contrary, he is stepping up his efforts. During the 3-week break between Silverstone and Spa, the 7-time world champion took a step that few drivers would take. He took control of the situation. He called meetings with virtually the entire Ferrari senior management team. John Elkann, chairman of the corporation, Benedetto Vigna, chief executive officer, Fred Vasseur, team principal, Loic Serra, technical director. 30 engineers gathered in a room, all paying attention to what Hamilton had to say. And most surprisingly, Hamilton didn't just show up to complain. He brought proposals, comprehensive technical documentation, in-depth studies on the team's structural deficiencies, specific recommendations on front suspension, rear suspension, and the engine for next season. 2 documents were submitted during the break, in addition to an extensive report he had already presented after the first races of the year. Hamilton was literally acting as a technical consultant for Ferrari itself. But why is this attitude so relevant? Nico Rosberg, who understands Hamilton like few others, offered the ideal explanation. A 7-time world champion does not invest time doing this if he does not trust the project. When Rosberg says that Ferrari should listen to Hamilton, he is not being cordial to his former teammate. He is being pragmatic about the significance of having someone with 7 world titles dedicating so much time and energy to solving the team's difficulties. Mark Jean, Ferrari ambassador and former Formula One driver, revealed the main difficulty that is plaguing Hamilton: the unpredictability of the car. According to Jean, who attends the team's technical meetings, Charles Leclerc is better able to adapt to this characteristic of the car, but Hamilton simply cannot extract its full potential when the 2025 model is unpredictable. And here we have the crux of the matter. It's not that Hamilton has lost his speed or skill. It's that the 2025 Ferrari car doesn't suit his driving style. This leads us to a broader reflection on what is happening in Maranello. Hamilton arrived at Ferrari at the age of 40, in the twilight of a legendary career, but still hungry for success. He didn't come to be a figurehead or just to make up the numbers. He came to win his 8th world title and break the record he shares with Michael Schumacher. But for that to happen, Ferrari needs to provide him with a car that suits his style. And that is precisely what Hamilton is trying to build with this documentation and these meetings. He is not just considering 2025, he is planning for 2026, when new technical regulations come into force and Ferrari will have the opportunity to start completely afresh. Hamilton wants to ensure that when that moment arrives, the Italian team will have learned from its current mistakes and developed a car that will allow him to compete for the title. But here a worrying question arises. Is Ferrari really prepared to implement the structural changes Hamilton is proposing? Structural changes are not just technical corrections to the car. They are changes in the team's working methodology, development philosophy, internal communication, and decision-making procedures. And that means that some people may lose influence or even their positions. The timing of these revelations is also no coincidence. Hamilton released this information before the Belgian Grand Prix, at a time when Ferrari was going through a difficult phase in the championship. McLaren had taken the lead in the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull Racing was dealing with internal issues, and Mercedes was gradually recovering. Ferrari had everything it needed to exploit this opportunity, but it was being held back by instability and the technical problems Hamilton was trying to solve. The question that remains is, what happens if Ferrari fails to implement the changes Hamilton is proposing? The seven-time world champion has a contract until the end of 2026, but contracts can be broken, especially when there is mutual frustration. Hamilton will not tolerate staying in 12th place indefinitely, and Ferrari did not hire the greatest winner in history to see him fighting for points. On the other hand, if Ferrari manages to assimilate the lessons Hamilton is imparting, the team could be preparing something exceptional for the coming years. Imagine the combination of Hamilton's experience and technical knowledge with Leclerc's talent and natural speed. Imagine a Ferrari that finally manages to develop stable, competitive cars that are suited to the driving styles of its two drivers. It would be a virtually unbeatable force in Formula One. What makes this situation even more captivating is that Hamilton is not doing this solely for his own benefit. He is building a legacy at Ferrari, leaving behind technical and organizational knowledge that could benefit the team for years to come. It's almost as if he is providing free consulting services to the Italian team, sharing decades of experience from winning teams such as McLaren and Mercedes. Nico Rosberg was spot on when he said that it is an excellent sign to see Hamilton fighting like this, rather than simply giving up. Hamilton could easily accept the current situation, fulfill his contract, collect his million-dollar salary, and retire without any pressure. But that's not how seven-time world champions think. They don't tolerate mediocrity. They fight until the last moment to find solutions and achieve victory. The question now is a matter of time. Structural changes take time to implement and produce results. Brake systems, suspension, aerodynamic philosophy, internal work procedures. None of this changes instantly. Hamilton understands this, which is why he is already thinking about 2026. But does he have the patience to wait that long? Does Ferrari have the capacity to carry out the necessary changes? The 2025 season may be remembered as the year Hamilton laid the foundations for the revolution at Ferrari. The documentation he is putting together, the meetings he is organizing, and the demands he is making internally could be the catalyst for the transformation the Italian team needs to return to the fight for world titles. Or it could just be the prologue to an inevitable split between two legends who have failed to find the perfect harmony. What do you think? Is Hamilton doing the right thing to turn Ferrari into a championship-winning team, or is he wasting his time trying to fix something that may be beyond repair? Leave your opinion in the comments, share this video with other Formula One enthusiasts, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any behind-the-scenes analysis of the greatest show in motorsport.